Everyone, good morning. It's lovely to see you here. As Trish said, my name is Emma Goode. I'm the MicroCreds Project Lead at University of Galway. And my role is to assist people in finding out the best way to pivot their career or upskill in order to get promoted within their careers, or to assist people in pursuing any lifelong ambitions that they may have. So today I'm going to talk about what micro-credentials are, what the key features of them are, some evidence-based benefits for career progression, why would you consider the University of Galway as your education provider for micro-credentials, how they actually work, the assessment and educational structure of micro-credentials, the range that we offer at University of Galway, the entry requirements and application process, student supports, what's available to you as a student studying micro-credentials versus that of a full-time traditional student, what your next steps might be, and then also to just showcase some learner testimonials and obviously any questions and answers that you may have for me. So kicking straight off, what are micro-credentials? Essentially, micro-credentials are short, bite-sized pieces of learning designed to be flexibly delivered so that you can upskill or learn something very quickly and intensively, so it can be applied directly in your work. So the characteristics of them, I've listed them here. It's a record of learning outcomes that the learner has acquired following this small volume of learning. Everything is accredited, which means that you get university credits for them, which enables them to be stackable, to be built towards larger programs or awards. It also means that these are delivered in the most flexible way possible, usually online, sometimes blended, and they're owned by the learner. So you always have them. Once you've achieved them, they are there for you forever. They can be standalone, so you can do one semester, and that might be all you ever want, or they can, in some instances, be built into larger awards, as I mentioned. And they are all quality assured by the university. So what this means is even though they are small, bite-sized pieces of learning, they have university credits, and it means that you are studying at a university standard. So when an employer looks at it, they know that you have, even though it's only a small amount of learning, it's of university standard. It's not something that you just sat in class and then were given a certificate at the end of it for attendance. There is work involved, and that is recognised by employers and other educational institutes as well. So the key features of micro-credentials are that they are flexible. As I said, short duration, usually between 6 and 12 weeks long. They are designed to fit around your work and your life. We're aware that adult learners are incredibly busy. You may be working full-time or part-time. You may have family commitments, caring responsibilities, volunteering. These are designed to fit in around that. So while they may be delivered, the lecture itself might be on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and that clashes with your training or whatever else it is that you may be doing, everything is recorded and is uploaded to a learning environment that you have access to, and you can follow the class progress at your own convenience. It is designed to work into your life seamlessly. Hybrid or blended really means that if it's a blended program, it means that there may be one Saturday, depending on the nature of the course, that you may be required to be on campus. This would be for courses that have a hands-on practical element. So any of the AI programs, they are largely all online because there is no need for in-person engagement. However, some of the manufacturing technology programs may require you to be physically present on campus just so you can see the machinery that's being used. However, as I said, it will be signposted well in advance of when you need to come in, and it would be just for one Saturday out of that 12 or 10-week semester. Stackability is really great. What this means is that you can study one module, decide whether or not you like this. Is this micro-credential for you? Is this really the area that I want to move into? And if you decide it isn't, you don't feel as if you've invested so much time and money into something that you no longer wish to pursue. But if it is something that you're interested in engaging with further, you're capable of doing another micro-credential in that area. And you can build these credits on top of each other until they accumulate to amount to maybe a postgraduate certification or a postgraduate diploma, or perhaps even a master's through engagement and with your academic supervisor and doing a longer project. So it's a really lovely way of discovering the area in which that you want to investigate for your career, whether it's for you, and you're supported all the time by the university as well. The focus is that these are competency-based. You will obtain a mastery of specific outcomes. So it's intense. The focus is that these are competency-based. You will obtain a mastery of specific outcomes. So it's intense. Everything is very intense. There is no fluffy background filler material in any of these courses. It is all very much applicable to the workplace. It is everything that you need to know condensed into short bite-sized pieces of learning, which is what makes micro-credentials a little bit different from other modes of education. And the benefits of these, they're completely democratized. Because everything is online, they're accessible to everyone, and there are huge subsidies available, which is by the HEA, the Higher Education Authority, which has brought down the price and the cost of so many of these micro-credentials. I see that I've skipped a bullet point as well there under focus where it says market aligned. So we engage as well with industry partners and our skill nets, and they inform us, the university, as to where the skills gaps are. And we have designed courses within the university to meet those skill nets. So it's all about, micro-credentials are all about bridging the gap between what learners have and what industry needs, and to bring that closer and closer together. And I'll speak a little bit more on that in the next slide. So evidence-based benefits for career progression. So micro-credentials, as I said, they're aligned with Ireland's national skills strategy and economic needs strategy. What this really means is that the government has recognised that while we have a very educated workforce in Ireland, that because so much is changing so quickly in industry, especially in the tech space, that they know that we are going to need to upskill faster than we can put, say, traditional students through university. So they are looking to upskill the existing workforce, and they have an ambitious target of having 60% of the working population in lifelong learning by 2030, which is only 5 years away. So they're expecting an awful lot from us as education providers, but also an awful lot from the workforce as well, because we are very aware as education providers that it is difficult sometimes for people to give up their free time to study. However, that's why we have designed these to be as seamless as possible into fitting around your busy schedules. So as I said, addressing those skills gaps and support for SMEs and regional growth. We work very closely with our regional skills fora who go out to the various industry sectors asking them, what do you need from education providers? So we are directly addressing those needs. So the courses that we provide are directly designed to address those problems that our industries are experiencing. There is a huge focus on the green economy, and we have been creating programs in our green labs, in our green hydrogen, wind energy programs, all to address those gaps in our employment base, really. Enhanced employability and industry recognition. Again, we're meeting employer demand with the courses that we're designing. Our skills-based hiring, well, we can see that industry is coming to us saying, this is what we need. I was speaking to a man from one of the exhibitions today, and he said, what we really need is something in water filtration. We need more of this. So I'll take that back to the university, and I'll be engaging with some of our academics to see, what can we do? Are we doing anything in this space? Is there something we can design if it doesn't already exist? And our global competitiveness is very important as well. Like, we know at the moment there's a whole lot of stuff going on with America and tariffs, and we're very heavily dependent on our financial direct investment. It's so important that we maintain that strong educated workforce to keep these companies here as much as we possibly can and to attract more foreign direct investment. From a learner perspective, micro-credentials have proved to assist people in their promotion and salary increases, and also to help people with career transitions. Nobody has a career for life anymore. Nobody goes into a job and says, that's it. That's even the most safe jobs. Nobody wants to do it forever, because 40 years is a very long time. I've changed jobs within the university and the public sector a few times, and it's always led to growth and learning for myself, and it's always been brilliant. And people know this. So people are always looking to change careers, or to go sideways, or to go up the way in a sideways fashion. And I think that with micro-credentials, you can gather on these almost like a badge and stripes to show, this is what I have, this is what I'm capable of, and I'm interested in doing this. And if you can show as well that you are able to manage a job and study at the same time, it shows that you have motivation, and that you are driven, and that you want more for yourself, and that you're happy to invest in yourself, which I think is something that employers do like to see, because if they see that you're happy to invest in yourself, they want to invest in you too, because they know that the outcome for you will be good, but from their perspective, more importantly, the outcome for the company will also be very good. Micro-credentials classes are great for networking and industry connections, because you will be put into a group of other people who are like-minded, and while you may not be meeting them in person, you are required to do a lot of chat on our online learning platform, our education learning platform, which is called Canvas. And there is an awful lot of requirement to keep engaging with your classmates. You will meet people within the same industry as you, who are doing similar but perhaps different things, or are perhaps doing the thing that you want to do. And it is a great way of networking and building contacts. And again, support for diverse learners and social inclusion. This is all about ensuring that people from remote parts of the country who may not be able to access a university physically, they're able to access these online programs. They are not as expensive as doing a full postgraduate diploma or a master's. And there's a regional accessibility in this. So it is a great democratization of education. Now, why do I think you should come to the University of Galway? Because it's amazing. As a graduate myself, I think it has been, it's a star in the west of Ireland. It really is. We have excellent teaching and research practices. We're a research-focused university, which means that every course that is designed with the most up-to-date information that's available. So everything you are learning is cutting edge. We're very creative in how we design our learning delivery methods. When I say it's an online class, it is not like what it was during COVID, where we all had to pivot suddenly and everything was just a person on a screen talking like this because they didn't like talking to black squares. I was a parent of 3 primary school students during COVID, and it was the most horrendous period of my life, where I would watch them doing online classes with their poor teachers. It's nothing like that. Everything is designed to be really engaging. Everything is broken down, so it's not a case of listening to somebody talk for an hour and a half or 2 hours, just droning on about AI or droning on about Green Lab. It is really engaging, broken down into little pointed bits, so that you have to, it's almost like a connect the dots. The way in which our programs are delivered is fantastic, and it is a much easier way to learn than just reading through reams and reams and reams of text, or listening to somebody speak in a monotone at you. It is much more engaging than that. And there's flexibility in module delivery, so short, manageable, bite-sized learning, as I said. And collaboration with our industry partners ensures that there's relevance to the workplace. So we will often have guest lectures across all of the courses that are delivered, where they are giving a practical approach. So you'll have the academic, theoretical perspective, but also people who are in the field saying, well, and this is what we do. So that's the theory, and this is how we have put this into practice. So you'll be learning from people who are in the field, as well as just people who have researched the area. you will have the same facilities and high quality learning environment as all other students. So an undergrad, we'll call them traditional students who are doing full-time degrees, have access to the library, to the health centre, to the gym and all of those facilities. And as a micro-credential student, you would also have all of those facilities at your fingertips as well. So you would have access to everything. You were treated as a full-time student, access to counselling, access to our academic writing centre. Every facility that's available for a traditional student is available to you, even though you're only going to be, say, learning for the 10-week period. You will have a student card, which you can use to avail of student discounts, which is always a nice thing to do, especially if you don't look like a traditional student. It's a nice thing to have in your back pocket. And as I said, we address Ireland. I like to think that we address Ireland's skills gaps. Now, of course, we're not the only university who do this, but I think we would be certainly punching above our weight. Now, benefits for learners: you can upskill for career growth, and there's affordable access. As I mentioned, there have been many subsidies. The HEA, the Higher Education Authority, have subsidised the courses for up to 50% or up to 80%, depending on the course. And we also have partnerships with SkillNet, various SkillNets around the country, and they also support and subsidise the places. And the employers then have access to our wonderful Galway-trained talent. Now, I suppose this image, I think, it sort of explains clearer than what I have been talking about recently. So the traditional education structure could have been a Leaving Cert, an undergraduate and a postgraduate. Whereas now we're moving, we still have those, we still need to have people who are sort of traditionally educated, but there is this need to constantly upskill, just for ourselves, not necessarily to bridge skills gaps or for employers, but for ourselves. And all of those little pebbles is how we are filling out and how we are continuing to grow. So the structure, I've spoken about this already, 6 to 12 weeks. The assessment, I'm delighted to know, micro-credentials do not come with a formal sitting down exam. Everything is by assessment or by project or by group project, but it's all delivered almost continuously, so you're not sort of staring at this one date in December where you have to sit in an exam hall with 300 other people, which I have to say would put the fear of God into me at this stage. And delivery, online learning platform Canvas, some in person and some on-campus workshops, depending on the microcred in question. So the credits that you would get are either 5 credits or 10 credits. Now, some of you might know what that means, some of you might not. It's essentially just a way of the university determining what quality or what level you're getting. So level 8 would be an undergraduate bachelor's degree, level 9 would be postgraduate, and 5 credits within either of those would be the sort of basic module amount that you can get, 10 credits a bit more. What you would need for a postgraduate certificate would be 30 of those. So if you did 3 micro-credentials, each worth 10 credits at level 9, that would be the equivalent of a postgraduate certificate. So it's something to think about, and I'll mention stacking in a bit more detail shortly. As I said, some modules are linked to larger awards. You can exit with a micro-credential. So once you finish, you will have a transcript of this. So you always have it with you. And you can use pathways for micro-credentials. So this is what stacking actually looks like. So if you see here, it might be difficult to read the text. This is an example of how we have run our stacking. There is sustainability. This is from our Construct Innovate program. Sustainability, planning and construction is 10 credits at level 9. So is digital construction technologies and modern methods. So if somebody were to do those 3, they would be able to then quite happily say, well, this is the equivalent of a postgraduate certificate in Construct Innovate, and they would be awarded that. If you add on another one, plus a project, that would be equal to a postgraduate diploma. And then if you were to work again with your academic supervisor, you could work out what research project would be needed in order to build to a master's. So that's how stacking would work in practice. Now, module assessment. As I said, no exams, but there's continuous assessment over the semester, written assignments, essays, and so on, maybe some lab assessments and online quizzes, so MCQs. I'm going to quickly go through the end because I noticed I'm running out of time. Lovely, thank you. So the requirements for what you would need, though, is not necessarily to be on campus, but you would need access to a laptop. You do need that. And then we would provide Canvas, MS Teams, Zoom, PowerPoint, all of those. We would deliver through web links, animations, discussion boards. You have access to library resources and other interactions. And these are a sample of some of the topic areas. So everything from law to science, engineering and technology, green and sustainability, computer and AI, humanities, languages and business. So that's a sample of some of them. If you go to our desk out in the foyer, you'll be able to pick up some of our brochures, and it has links to our website and so on, where you'll be able to look at all of these. They're the student supports that you would be entitled to have. Academic. So, oh yes, this is important. I think people who haven't been in university for a long time, or people who are going to university for the first time as adults, they can be a little bit nervous about whether or not they'll be able for it. Will I be able to write an essay again? We do have assistants on hand with our Academic Writing Centre and our Skills Hub, who will be able to sort of put your mind at ease and show, yeah, you are able for this, by the way, and this is how you do it, because it's all inside you. They'll be able to sort of shepherd you along the way and help you with that. So what's next? If you, I suppose, go to our website, see what's there, have a think about what it is you might want to do, and yeah, start applying. I suppose most of our courses for semester 1 have actually closed, though there are a couple that are still open, but we will be taking applications for semester 2 in November. So have a look at that and see what's available. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Emma Goode, everyone, from the University of Galway. Now,